how to do a taper fade with some shear work. What's going on, guys? My name is Sergio Barron, and let's just get right into this tutorial. As y'all can see, my boy was looking a little scruffy, so we had to get him right. Now I'm gonna start off by dampening his hair really well, as saturating the hair when doing any kind of shear work is always gonna be really helpful with sectioning and parting out your cutting lines. And also be sure that you're always grooming in the direction that you're going to section, as it will facilitate your sectioning lines as well. I am going to do a delta section, so basically just a triangle section from the back crown up to the front corner recession areas. This is just so that I can separate the top from the sides, and I can solely focus on the shear work on the sides first. Now, as you see, I'm just grooming in the direction that I am gonna section. I am using our very own faded culture shears. Y'all can find at fadedculture.com. But I am gonna be pulling diagonal sections. So like I said, I'm grooming in a diagonal manner. Then I'm gonna pull out my first cutting section about a comb in width. Then I'll grab it. I'll point outwards so that I can leave the top by the parietal ridge a little longer, and then cut it. As y'all can see, it was already fairly short, so we're gonna go ahead and just go along with that length as we cut the rest of the back, or the rest of the sides and then the back. So what I'm gonna do is grab section number 2, over direct it to section number 1 before I cut it, making sure that I'm angling my fingers pointing away from the head. So my knuckles are closer to the head and my fingertips are pointing away, again, so that we can leave the parietal ridge area a little longer. And we're going to continue that process as we move towards the back, over directing to the previous section every time, and then just keeping that same cutting angle. Now, I did see as I was editing this video that a mistake that I was making that y'all can learn from. Y'all see that how I'm sliding my fingers a little bit past my cutting line? I encourage y'all to stop a little bit before, and then you cut. I've been cutting a long time and I'm still trying to perfect my shear work, guys, so I'm learning as I go myself, but these are just things that I'm learning, that I'm teaching y'all as I go through my journey of learning shear work. So ideally, I would stop a little bit before my cutting line and then I'll cut. That way you can clearly see your previous section and then just match up to it. Now the back, we are not gonna taper, we're gonna leave that length. So as you see, I'm just keeping my line square as I get lower. So again, just cutting. Every new section is just being groomed right back just to the previous section, no further than that. And it's important that you continuously step with your next cutting line so that you ensure a proper length is being cut. So every time I pull up a new section, guys, I take a step to the left. You got to move around the head. Remember, the head is round, so you got to be able to move with it. And you should always see your previous guide before, guys. So if you don't see it, regroom the hair so that you can see it before you actually do your cut. And also, guys, we do have an online mentorship. I encourage y'all to join it if y'all are looking to improve y'all skills in fading or shears. Y'all can upload y'all's work on there. We can critique it, give you better advice, and even make dedicated videos for you to help solve any problems that you may be having. We also talk about financial skills, marketing skills, and personal development. So if you're interested, it's a 7-day free trial. The link is in the description, or y'all can just head over to fadedcultureacademy.com. But I'm gonna keep graduating all the way until I reach the back end point of our delta section. And that's why they call it cross graduating, because you're graduating on one side all the way across to the other side, because since we're cutting in diagonal sections, And then when we come back from the opposite side, we're basically gonna cross. So that's where you get the term cross graduation. This is about our last section, as you can see, from the top delta section all the way down to the bottom left part of the nape or the neck. I also, on the online mentorship, we also have a few exercise videos that I encourage y'all to practice if y'all are still getting or still new to shears. But now we're going to repeat the process on the opposite side, guys. But the only thing that's changing is now our knuckles are pointing outwards and our fingertips are pointing to the scalp, so that we still have that triangular cutting line. And then again, we're just grooming every new section to the previous. Every section is about a comb width. And we're just moving down along that section. As you reach the bottom, since we graduated from the opposite side, you'll be able to have a guide from the top or from the previous section, of course. And then as you reach the bottom, you're basically connecting to what you had graduated on the right side. Also, guys, feel free to let us know what other videos y'all like us to cover here on the channel. And if y'all have any tips of y'all's own, go ahead and feel free to share them in the comment section. Remember, even I'm still here. I'm still learning. I don't consider myself as a know-it-all. And I love to hear other people's techniques and what they do so that I can see what's something I'd like to try. But that's pretty much it for the sides and the back. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start trimming the top. Now the top, he's letting it grow. So what I'm gonna do first is look for the natural part, groom the hair back, look for the natural bounce where the hair splits. And then I'm gonna just make sure that nothing's hanging over the side length that we just finished trimming. And basically just clean it up, as he didn't have much on each side. And then also, once we reach the frontal side, basically around right here, I normally flare out my cutting line a little bit more, just so that we can leave longer lengths towards the front. I just repeat it on the opposite side, and then we're ready to cut our last section on the top. Now what I'm gonna do is, starting from the back, I'll grab a section, and basically I'm looking for the shortest, longest piece on the right side, since we just finished cutting it right now. And I'm gonna match up the top to that, and I'm just cutting square across. And I'm gonna repeat that process one section at a time, about a comb's width, matching up to the right side as I move forward up to the frontal part of his head. Just make sure that you're not accidentally over directing the hair in any way. You got to make sure that you're lifting it straight up from where it's born, right from the root, straight up. I see a lot of people reach the front side, and for some reason they tend to pull the hair back before they cut. So you see how the head rounds towards, or it dips a little bit towards the front. I'm pulling with that dip, so I'm pulling a little bit away from me because the head rounds that way. Once we got to the front, since we wanted to leave it a little long, it's a little less that we need to cut. But then we just repeat the process. Now on this left side, you'll notice that you'll have a guide. Again, the shortest, longest piece from the left side, and you could see the middle from what we just finished cutting right now. Basically just match that up again so that we can finish cutting the top. And also guys, if y'all are in San Antonio, Texas or any surrounding cities, we do have our barber school here in San Antonio, Texas. If y'all are interested in becoming a certified barber, I encourage y'all to come get licensed by us here in San Antonio, Texas. Y'all can get more info at fadecultureacademy.com as well. Now before I start my clipper work, I'm gonna quickly blow dry, especially the area where I will be using clippers. And just note that I'm blow drying in the direction that he will be styling it. So if he's gonna style it back, I'm gonna blow dry it back. Now before I set in my first guidelines, I'm gonna go ahead and quickly just create the perimeter lines on these arches, just so that I can get a better idea of where I'm gonna set in or where my taper fade is gonna be set at. I do zero gap my tools as well, and we have a video here on the channel. Just type in Faded Culture zero gap and you should see that video on how we zero gap our tools. Now I'm gonna go ahead and set in my first guideline right here using the corners of the trimmer. I'm basically setting in the guideline and also thinking that I'm already trying to fade it out so that I can leave it a little more softer. Then with the clipper lever open, I'm gonna come up about a ½ inch from that previous line that we just finished setting. Then with the one guard, still leaving that lever open, I'm gonna come up about another ½ inch, flaring out a little bit more so that I don't cut too much into the longer length. We wanna gently connect to it. Next, with the 1.5 guard lever still fully open, I'm gonna try to finish connecting with this one. So really exaggerate the flare out, use the back hump of the guard to help you push out so that you can seamlessly connect to the top length. And then just be sure that you're always grooming the hair again in the direction that he will be styling it. Now anything else that's overhanging, I'll just grab my comb and do a little bit of clipper over comb just to get rid of whatever else is hanging over so that we can connect the fade to the long length up top. Just be sure that you're holding the comb steady and not pushing it in with the clipper. Now we have these two guidelines to blend out, starting with the top one with the guard, the half guard lever positioned at 3/4. I'm gonna use the corners and gently soften it up. Take your time, and the challenge is to not create another guide. So if you're creating another guide, that should be a note to self that maybe you're just pressing a little too hard or you're not flaring the clipper out enough. Now with the one, leave it in the same position, but I'm gonna come up a little bit higher than where I previously was. Now with this one, we should finish taking out that line. Sometimes that half clip alone won't do it, so I always come back with the one guard just to help me really take it out. Now for the first line, it's gonna take me 3 lever positions, starting with the clipper lever closed. I'll start softening up the initial start of that line. Then I'll open it to the 3/4 spot, come up a little bit higher, and then I'll open it all the way to finish connecting the initial first line. By the time you get to the lever open, guys, it should be real minimal what you got to take out. So just be really soft with it and get in there in a detailed fashion and try to get your fade to look as clean as possible. And after that, just follow it up with your trimmer and electric shaver to get the fade down to the skin. You can easily create another line with that shaver, guys, so just make sure that if you do, just come back in with the trimmer to take it out, and then just soften up the transition with your thinning shears so that you don't have any heavy lines. Then just repeat the process on the opposite side. And if y'all are interested in purchasing any WAHL tools, guys, we do have our own personal code. If y'all ever shop at wahlpro.com, use Faded Culture 15 at checkout and y'all could save 15% on all WAHL Pro tools. Now I'm gonna start detailing the lineup work. Here is where I'll really take my time to get the arch and all the lineup as perfect as possible, guys. This is what separates every barber from one another. So in my opinion, just take your time and try to get it as neat and as perfect as you can. Also, guys, I'm curious, what kind of style of videos do y'all like to see? Do y'all like voiceovers, or do y'all prefer me talking as I'm filming? Or do y'all like ASMR style videos with text over the screen? I know some people learn different ways, so I'm curious to see what all of y'all, or how y'all prefer us to create videos for y'all. But after that, just create the lineup in the forehead, starting from the middle, and just try to be or go as straight as possible across both ends, and then just angle that line on the edge to like about a 90-degree angle, and get it as sharp as possible with the corners of your trimmer. I am gonna apply a little bit of our shaving gel. Just apply a really thin coat, guys, as this shaving gel goes a long way, before coming in and setting up your straight razor for your shave. We also have our full shaving set at fadedculture.com if y'all are interested. We have the slide razor and a Turkish razor. Right here I'm using the slide razor as I feel it is a little bit more user friendly. But just make sure that you're tugging with your opposite hand on the skin to create tension and help that razor slide. Now it's important that you're stopping exactly at what you created with your trimmer already, as these razors are really sharp that you can easily push your lineups further than where they are already set. So just be careful that you're not pushing too hard. Just with the tension alone and the sharpness of the razors should be enough to get you a clean shave. And I do go over everything that I used with my trimmer, so if my trimmer passed it up, I'm gonna follow it up with my shaver, just because I feel like it looks a lot cleaner and it helps the haircut last a little bit longer. And if you're still new to using a razor holder, then just use it without a razor, since you don't want to be nervous and accidentally cut somebody, because you can do that. Yeah, one time I accidentally cut somebody's head off, and yeah, I mean, they were able to stitch it back on, but you know, it's client never came back to me, so you don't want that. I always also like to shave against the grain, so anything that I shave off, you'll see me following it up with a reverse shave, just to get that shave to last a little bit longer. Now for the facial hair, I just grabbed my 1.5 guard lever closed, and that's what I chose as the length for the facial hair. Now just make sure that you're going over it numerous times so you can get that length to be cut to an even length. And then for the fade, I'm gonna go ahead and just use our same fading process, starting with the trimmer, then the lever open on the clipper, then the 1 guard lever open to connect to that 1.5 that we just finished cutting the beard length to. And then you'll have those 2 guidelines to blend out with that half clip, 3/4, and then blend out the line with the clipper lever closed, then lever at 3/4, and then fully open so you can seamlessly create that fade effect on the facial hair. We do have a few other beard fade tutorials on our online mentorship if y'all are interested in checking those out as well. Now for the lineup, especially if your trimmers are zero gapped, be sure that you're soft with it on cleaning up all the detail lineup work around the lip and neck, as these are sensitive areas and you don't want to scratch somebody. So just be gentle, be careful, and try to get your lineup work to be as clean as possible. Now the bottom is always going to be preference as to where to set in that bottom neckline, so make sure you consult with your client just to establish where is a good place to set in that hard line. Follow the bottom up with the electric shaver as well, so that we can get it close to the skin. Now even though I did the electric shaver, I still follow it up with my straight razor just to get that lineup to pop a lot harder and so that it can look sharper. And I always have your client pull their lip down or puff it up. That way it's easier for you to get in there with your razor and clean it up. Now I like the way this natural lineup looks, so I didn't use any enhancements. But now I'm gonna quickly just wet the hair a little bit before applying some of our matte clay. I'm gonna grab about a dime size as you see here, but just make sure that I emulsify it really well into my hands before applying it onto the hair. This will give it that wet look without having it giving it too much of a matte look. Then just grab a styling comb and then just groom the hair until you find that desired look. But here's the before, guys, and here's the after. I hope y'all enjoyed the tutorial on a taper fade with a brush back. I've heard people call this style Belico. I'm not sure where that came from, but hopefully y'all enjoyed this tutorial. Let us know what other videos we should drop on this channel. Let me know in the comments what y'all liked about the video or what y'all learned from it. And yeah, check us out at betaculture.com as well, guys. But other than that, we'll catch you on the next video. This is Sergio Barron. Peace.